call the Commissioners' meeting to order. It's December 19, 2016, a little after 9. Let's rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Present.
Mr. King. Here. Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We have a public hearing, a petition to vacate a public street. Is Marlon Harris here?
Commissioners, my name is William Hughes from Beasley and Gilkison, 110 East Charles, here in Muncie. Mr. Harris has just arrived, weather related, I suspect. We're requesting vacation of the street in Harris Addition. We have a published notice, and I have the publisher's affidavit, which I'll file with the auditor. Mr. Harris planted Harris Addition in 1952. This is located in Liberty Township, just north of State Road 32 and east of Selma. At the north end of the original plat, there was a 25-foot dedicated street running east and west along the adjacent to lot number 28. It's a dead end. The street was never improved. There are no utilities in the street. In 2009, Mr. Harris planted a second addition, which consisted of just one lot, lot number 30, adjacent to the same stub street on the north. Mr. Harris owns both of these lots, 28 and 30, and has for many years. There are houses on each lot that are currently rentals. There was a recent addition to the house on lot 28 that appears now to encroach slightly into that right-of-way. And as a method of resolving that issue, as recently we filed this request to vacate. We originally thought we'd just vacate the entire stub street, the 25-foot street running east from its intersection with Northwood Drive. You have a Plan Commission report in which was pointed out quite correctly that this, if you vacate the whole street, there is a question whether there is adequate public right-of-way access to the lot 30 in the event that it were ever sold. And we agreed with that. And on page 2 of the Plan Commission report, they suggested instead that you vacate the south 12.5 feet of this right-of-way, the 25-foot right-of-way, beginning about 25 feet east of the intersection with Northwood Drive. And they have a very nice map there that shows exactly the portion that they are suggesting be vacated. We agreed with that. That solves the problem of the encroachment and yet still leaves public access to lot number 30. I emailed out a revised ordinance. I have hard copies of the ordinance. I don't know if what I sent out was printed out, but I'll, if I will, bring copies of the ordinance along with the publisher's affidavit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like an easy fix.
So at this time, we would request that you consider today introduction of the revised ordinance to vacate the south 12.5 feet of this right-of-way. Although we know that there are no utilities there, it would be subject to any utilities that would have facilities in the vacated portion. Since Mr. Harris owns the adjacent properties, he will become the owner of the vacated portion of the lot, and it will be added to lot number 28 and for tax purposes. be happy to answer any questions. Like I say, Mr. Harris is here, and he can answer questions as well.
I don't have any questions. Is
Sounds-
there anybody here that
Sounds
opposes?
kind of dry.
Appreciate it.
Is there anybody
Thank
here
you.
that opposes this?
If not, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
A motion to close the public hearing in a second. Move on down to approval of the minutes, December 5th, 2016.
Close
I do.
Called.
Okay, go ahead and call roll on.
Mr. King,
table,
Yes.
Sorry.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes. Move on down to the approval of the minutes, December 5th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. President, can we go back to appointments?
Yes, sir.
We have an opening on the drainage board. We had one of our members from the drainage board that passed away. We do need to fill that spot. I'd like to make a motion to fill it with Dick McIntyre.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to appoint Dick McIntyre to the Drainage Board in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We do have Mr. McIntyre out then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. White.
Mr. Whitehair was a longtime member of the Drainage Board and a valued member of the Drainage Board and the community, and he will be sadly missed.
How many term, or years is that term?
I'm not sure
I
what.
believe he'll finish this year out, and then he'll have to be reappointed next
Okay,
year.
yeah.
I think they have a meeting today.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a meeting today.
They'll be reappointed in 2017.
Yes. All right, we have a presentation to the commissioners of Mounds Greenway.
Michael.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Commissioners. I'm Michael Popa. I'm with the Hoosier Environmental Council. We're a statewide environmental policy organization, and one of the projects, or we do work all over the state, one of the projects we've been working on here locally in the East Central Indiana region is the Mounds Greenway. And I'll talk a little bit about what that is and what it could mean for the communities here in East Central Indiana. So the vision for the Mounds Greenway, we want to protect one of the most ecologically unique and diverse, high-quality, free-flowing rivers in Indiana, that is the West Fork White River. And while doing that, we also want to create a premier regional greenway for the Midwest. And really there's three main components of the Mounds Greenway. One is conservation, protecting that forested riparian corridor, connection, connecting communities and improving connections through trails. And the third is the creation of economic opportunity that is associated with high-quality trails like the Mounds Greenway would be. Here's a very basic map of the Mounds Greenway, and you'll see that there's a light green outline along the river, and that is, within that boundary is where the Mounds Greenway would fall between Anderson and Muncie. The Mounds Greenway isn't a unique idea. In 1979, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources did a study that recognized the high potential for recreation development, base development on the White River between Anderson and Noblesville, and they recommended a bicycle trail following the river from Muncie to Noblesville. So, component one of the Mounds Greenway, conservation. This project would conserve and permanently protect around 2,300 acres of forested land and wetlands. So a lot of you probably know the White River's had some pollution challenges in the past, but the past decade or so have really seen the river make a tremendous recovery. And we've seen a move from pollution-tolerant species that are indicative of very poor water quality into now a thriving ecosystem with an aquatic population that can only survive in high-quality water. And that also includes smallmouth bass, which is probably the state's most sought-after game fish. Besides conserving natural habitats, the Mounds Greenway would also preserve and highlight cultural and historic resources that are in this area, like Camp Chesterfield in Chesterfield and the Moravian Mission in Anderson, just to name a few. The connections. So that's the second component of the Mounds Greenway, which is the connections, connecting communities via that Riverside linear park and trail. And I'll talk a little bit about what the Mounds Greenway would connect. The western terminus of the Mounds Greenway would be the Rangeline Nature Preserve in Anderson, which is a very popular mountain bike trail. And moving east from there along the river, you could travel to Mound State Park with its 2,000-year-old Adina Hopewell burial mounds. And then eventually you get to the White River Greenway in Muncie. And through that connection with the White River Greenway, you connect to the Cardinal Greenway, which is the state's longest rail trail. So really, we like to view the Mounds Greenway as a missing link in what would truly be a regional trail system. So by completing that 13 to 17 mile Riverside Trail from Anderson to Muncie, you would connect over 100 miles of fully connected trail, and that could really put this area on the map. And there's work going on in Henry County to connect to the Cardinal Greenway, and then in Upland, Indiana, where Taylor University is, there's a plan to connect to the Cardinal Greenway. So really, we could see a trail system of over several hundred miles. I gave all of you a copy of our recent released Economic, Health, and Environmental Benefits Analysis, and that was put together by Alta Planning and Design, which is a international planning and design firm, and I'll just briefly go over some of the benefits that found. So how they came to these conclusions is they looked at aspirational communities that were similar to this area in demographics, educational attainment, population, etc. And the difference was that these aspirational communities had better quality trail systems and pedestrian infrastructure. They took data from all these communities, put it through their model, ran it through their modeling system, and from there that allowed them to quantify and put a dollar value on the benefits that the Mounds Greenway, if implemented, would produce. And this study really focuses on who would use the trail most, and they find that people within a 3-mile radius of the trail benefit the most from it. Here's just a little bit more about the methods they used. And it goes over the aspirational cities. So Lee County, Alabama, Champaign County, Illinois, St. Joseph County, Indiana, Ingham County, Michigan. You can see the rest there. There were 7 total. So if implemented, the Mounds Greenway would result in around 1.7 million more miles biked per year, 151,000 more miles walked, $309,000 in healthcare savings that would come from more people simply getting out and using the Greenway and living a healthier lifestyle. 223,000 additional hours of exercise per year. 8.3 million in stormwater benefits by preserving that forested riparian corridor. You reduce flooding impacts and also prevent future development in the floodplain. Let's go over these real briefly. You have all that information in front of you. Transportation benefits, you have 229,000 in road maintenance savings per year by allowing people alternatives to car travel, such as biking and walking. 869,000 in household vehicle cost savings per year. You have more people, a lot of people would like the option to not have to have a car and use that for travel. Many young people especially would prefer to ride their bike to work if possible, and the Mounds Greenway would allow more people to do that. 1.5 million fewer vehicle miles traveled per year and $764,000 in vehicular collision savings. So economic needs, East Central Indiana has shrunk by 7% in the past couple decades, and one of the primary benefits of the Mounds Greenway is it would serve as a quality of life amenity that is needed to actually keep people living in these communities and investing in them. And providing outdoor recreation amenities and park spaces, places for people to walk and bike is one way to make a place more attractive to live. So economic benefits, the Mounds Greenway would result in 62,000 new tourists per year to this area, $3 million in additional tourism-related spending, and almost $33 million one-time increase in property values. So this is just a summary of all of what I just went over, and again, you have all this information. But in total, if implemented, that Mounds Greenway between Anderson and Muncie would result in $13 million in annually repeating benefits. And I'll note that our estimated cost for this project is anywhere from $15 to $40 million on the very high end. And we like to be conservative with our estimates, I'll note. All right, so we have all these results that came from modeling software, but there's plenty of real-life examples to back up what that study has identified would be the benefit of the Mounds Greenway. And real quick before I move into that, I'll note that the study, the CDC, has noted the importance of park and trails in maintaining a healthy community. And I'll note that Indiana is well below the national average in terms of people who live near and have access to recreational spaces. So anyways, comparing the Mounds Greenway, and we have a compilation of case studies that's available on our website, moundsgreenway.org, that will allow you to view real-life examples of the benefits produced by greenways and trails that are similar to what the Mounds Greenway would be. So the Root River Trail in tiny little Lanesboro, Minnesota, population 800. After their trail went in, they had 12 new bed and breakfasts, 8 restaurants, an art gallery, and a community theater. The Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville, South Carolina, that connects to Travelers Rest. This is probably the most similar to what the Mounds Greenway would be, connecting 2 mid-sized cities as well as some smaller ones. It's 14 miles, and they have 501,000 annual users in 2012 to 2013. And a study done by the local health system concluded that they derive around $6.7 million in trail tourism dollars from out-of-town trail users. Just noting the economic benefit of healthy rivers in general, in 2012, Iowa State University did a study that looked into the economic impact of their rivers, and that concluded that their rivers and river trails result in about $520 million in annual economic impact and 6,300 jobs created. And this is a really striking figure. The Great Allegheny Passage, which is in Pennsylvania, 30% of the trail town businesses in that community, 30% of their revenues were attributed to the trail, and that number was about $1 million per establishment in consumer spending that was directly attributed just to that trail. So where are we now and what's next with the Mounds Greenway? Right now we're trying to build community support. We're looking for support from businesses, organizations, elected officials, and government entities such as yourself. We would love to have your support. And from there we're really starting to move into a more intensive outreach to landowners, meetings with landowners. We have vowed that we wouldn't like to see eminent domain used for this project. We want to acquire land only from willing sellers via easement or just outright sale of their land. So the master planning stage, we'll consider the exact routing of the trail, what side of the river it'll be on, trail features such as placement of trailheads, will it be crushed gravel or a paved path, where the bridges will be, where nodes of economic opportunity will be, things like that. I have some more before and after pictures that will show what the Mounds Greenway could look like in this area. This is near Camp Chesterfield along the river. before, after. I'm forgetting what bridge this is now. I think this is near Priestford Road in Yorktown, somewhere thereabouts. And you can reuse old railroad trestle bridges to reuse a historic asset and find a new use for it for these kind of crossings. There's downtown Daleville, and that building is no longer there, I believe, but this kind of project fits perfectly in with these downtown revitalization proposals that are going on in some of the communities. Green Bridge that I think the county commissioners are probably familiar with. So, I noted that the original Mounds Greenway proposal would connect Anderson, Chesterfield, Daleville, Yorktown, and Muncie along the White River. However, the ultimate goal we'd like to see for this project is we'd really like to see it one day extend from Muncie all the way to Indianapolis, and that would be a truly transformational project for both areas of East Central Indiana and Central Indiana. We actually have just received support from Mayor Cook of Westfield, has come out in public support of that Muncie to Indianapolis concept, as well as Carmel Play Parks and Recreation, and we expect more elected officials to come out and support soon. Just to wrap up, we'll talk about regional cities, which we expect will be renewed for another session coming up here soon. So there's kind of a theme that ran through the three regions that won a grant from regional cities, which is a competitive grant process that came out of Governor Pence's office, and they created various regions of Indiana to compete for that grant money. The three regions that won were North Central Indiana, Northeast Indiana, which is Fort Wayne, Steuben County, and Southwest Indiana, Evansville. That's really that main community. And the things that were in these proposals that won the money were greenways, redevelopment of historic areas, mixed-use developments, and regional connectivity through those trails and greenways. North Central Indiana is, let me look at my notes here, is spending $65 million in projects that leverage the St. Joseph River. Northeast Indiana is investing $72.5 million in a regional trail connector that will connect Pokagon State Park to Wabash State Park. And then Southwest Indiana is working on another excellent regional trails project and investing $56.4 million in that. And I'll just note that we think the Mounds Greenway is a perfect regional project and the type of project that they really want to see in those regional cities proposals. So our supporters list, I said we're still recruiting support for this project. Our list has grown to about 50 supporters, businesses, nonprofits, and elected officials. And we expect that list to grow here, continue growing into the future. And if you'd like to learn more, stay in touch. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or also go check out our blog post on moundsgreenway.org. And I'll entertain any questions now, if you have any.
Well, we thank you, Michael, for driving up here, getting up early and making this presentation. And this, we've learned quite a bit since the mounds came about. But my most impressive was the 20,000 visitors out at Daleville just for the canoe, And those people are the outdoors that we want to invite to come and join our community. And this is just a perfect segue to help that community out there.
Yeah, we agree.
And we're seeing that development out there Mr. Burkout's been working on. So I do appreciate you coming up and sharing this. And I would hope that we could have a resolution for you in the near future that we're supportive of this endeavor.
Glad to hear it. And we have a draft resolution to support that. I'd be more than happy to share with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the audience? Tim was back there. Appreciate you coming up. Too bad we didn't put it back this in '79, been a lot cheaper with it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day to talk about outdoor recreation.
It'll be here before we know it.
Okay,
Thanks so much.
thank you. American Structure Point, Joe Fragomeni, he's not gonna make it today, so
Reschedule sometime.
we'll reschedule that sometime. Move on to contracts or agreements for approval. Agreement for inmate mental health service. Sheriff, can you tell us about the agreement, please?
Yeah, there's an increase in the agreement. We took this in front of county council for budget time, which they approved the increase in the pay. We just had to do a new contract for that to reflect this with you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and.
Thank you, sir.
Top three spots on that page is money that Dr. Hatfield has saved for us, and some of the stuff that he's done in the past that people in his field has not done, and the money he saved the county for that. The one is the MMPI evaluations we do all of our employees, whether it be merit, correctional, or reserves. Since June of 2015, he saved us about $40,000 on that. Read down through there's a couple more savings, $7,500 has been saved through the department, as well as the $3,500. The really good thing is some of the new things that Dr. Hatfield's going to do for our department. So staff wellness groups, where they're going to meet once a month, which is very, very important for correctional officers. The other thing that's really neat that he's going to do is the children's counseling group. In the past, we've never really worried about families or children of incarcerated subjects. Well, Dr. Hatfield started this group counseling, or this counseling of children and families for subjects that are incarcerated. It's a really big impact, especially on the children, to have a family member or have a mother or father be incarcerated for a long period of time. So I think it's really awesome he does that.
I'd like to offer maybe an off-site for these visits. The children maybe don't have to go to the jail, maybe our courtroom here or something. But I'm really impressed with this, and I appreciate you and the doctor adding this on. So sad.
What's your pleasure for the agreement?
Don, you've looked over this, and
I have, I don't have any changes.
I'll move we adopt.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve the agreement in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next agreement is Mitch Castle Community Corrections DOC funding contract.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Mitch Castle. I'm the Director of Delaware County Community Corrections. I have Sharon McCormick, my financial manager, here this morning. I'm going to let Sharon explain this to you. It's a new system for how we do our contracts. It's all electronic. And also how we receive our grant money. So,
Yes, I did send the instructions, I think, to all of you and to Mr. Brook. Were they crystal clear?
I got the email.
I read it and it was
What's the state to make them clear?
So basically, we're still just going to fill out our grant and send it in. Then when it comes time to sign the actual contractor agreement, they need an email from who is responsible in the county to sign the contract.
I would think, John, that whoever's current president, maybe.
That would be correct.
So we just need to provide that email to the state. Then in May, they're going to email whoever the contact that we put and let them know that the contract's ready. You'll log into the portal and the instructions should be right there. Then the only thing that our concern was, we're not going to have a copy of that contract. It would be, you're going to have it, you can print it out, and then maybe we could just have a copy of it. Because we'll be, used to, Diane would come over and just get it signed.
Right.
And then we would UPS it or overnight it. Well, that they're not doing any longer, so.
That's fine.
We'll make sure that you get a copy electronic. We'll still have to vote on it, so let's come from a public meeting when he gets it. So once it's approved in a public meeting, then he can electronically sign it and send you an electronic copy.
Yes, and I do believe they're time sensitive. They'll have a date on them, like within 12 days we need it back.
Depends on when there's a meeting.
I know, right? Okay. So when will you guys provide us an email? Which email address do you want us? Because they're on us. They send us emails every week. We need that email. We need an email address. Who's your contact?
We can provide you that information
January 2nd, probably.
Okay,
pretty soon.
okay. That's really all we had. We just wanted to make you
That's
guys
fine.
aware that,
We'll take care of it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a general service agreement for Triad.
Commissioners, I'd like to recommend that we table this based on some suggested revisions from John Brooks. I'd like to present at the next meeting.
Make a motion, we table
Table,
the
second
contract.
that, second that.
Motion table and second, roll call.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. We have
Like Patty and Heather.
NDOT LPA coordination contract supplement number 1 EDS 8249-10-320722.
Well done.
AKA
Second.
Bridge 226.
That's it. That's it.
Back in October, NDOT presented a contract that you authorized. My coordinator submitted it to the higher up central office. They asked that we change it to a supplemental. So that contract you approved in October will be void. And this is the same thing, just covering the terms. It's just, it says supplemental now.
Sherry, you made a motion.
I will.
Okay, I thought you did before Andy said it.
No, that was not.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we accept the contract.
Second,
Motion's been made and second, roll call please.
Ms. Reagan.
yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is the one we just closed.
Yes, this is the one on County Road 419 East over Cardinal Greenway.
You know, we kind of talked about what to do with it. How much are you looking at to replace it next year? What would the cost be?
It goes to letting, I believe August of next year. Gosh, I want to say the estimate's around 800,000 to remove it and put in an at-grade crossing that would provide, so the load restriction that's currently there, well, it's currently closed, but that will be removed. There'll be better, currently there's site obstruction now, so it will definitely be improved for two-way traffic. It's a narrow bridge now, and it has a 3-ton load restriction. So there'll be like a con-span type structure installed that falls below the 20-foot requirement that needs to be inspected by, per the federal highway for bridge inspections. So it'll be like a tunnel for the Cardinal Greenway to pass through under the roadway.
So if the 3 tons going to be raised to
There will not be a load restriction on the new design.
no restriction? And how much right of way on each side was it?
I don't have the plans in front of me.
Was
I'm
it
sorry,
like
Sherry.
25? I mean, it was quite a bit,
There's more than
Yeah, because there's,
more than 25.
I just don't have that in front of me.
I just had some calls about if we want to spend that much. Would there be a chance we'd have a public hearing if the public out there wants the road or wants the bridge replaced? If it's only
It has been
carrying 90,
advertised that we
90.
could have requested a public hearing and no one requested one.
It was
Mhm,
advertised.
Through the environmental process.
Oh, maybe, I guess we missed that one then.
And I did not receive any requests for a public hearing or any comments of any kind.
Well, the calls I received is because people's upset because it is closed. I think we need to fix the bridge.
Yeah, most of the calls I've got was just about the load restrictions. If the new bridge was put in, would we have, because a lot of the farmers out there would like to be able to take their tractors over it.
And the emergency services and school buses would
Right.
like to use it as well.
Because as of right now, they cannot use that bridge.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, we have the CHA Rail Spur Row Agreement.
Commissioners, good morning. Brad Bookout with Delaware County Economic Development. I have provided this agreement to you previously for your review. With me today is Charlie Starling from CHA Engineering. CHA was originally contracted with to do the rail spur loading dock project, and now we are doing the right-of-way acquisition. This agreement is for the right-of-way acquisition services, which will be from a single entity, but it is an extensive amount of ingress and egress, approximately 6 months worth of work. This is a not-to-exceed increase on the original agreement of $17,650. So Charlie's here to answer any additional questions you may have with CHA's work regarding the, regarding the right-of-way. We appreciate your approval today.
Anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the CHA contract. Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Agreement for Economic Development Services.
Yes, Commissioners, again, Brad Bookout. I did present to you the annual report of services at your last meeting regarding both economic development services of Augusta Consulting and the services that Augusta provides for the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. I have previously emailed all three of you and communicated in some form, included revisions in the contracts to accurately reflect the work that we do with both entities. Happy to answer any questions, but I appreciate your support of these agreements so we can continue forward for the next 24 months.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Is that both agreements?
Yeah,
or-
Yeah, both
Put
agreements.
together.
Yep.
Okay. A motion and a second to approve the Economic Development Services Agreement, also for the Redevelopment Commission. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioners.
Brad.
Thank you.
All right, ordinances for first reading, ordinance to vacate a certain street in Delaware County. Ordinance number 2016-020.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made to approve the first reading and vacation of that street. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Ordinance number 2016-021, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2007-007.
This is an ordinance that you requested I draft concerning the Board of Aviation Authority. For the fifth member to reduce it back to 4 to reduce the size of government.
I make a motion to approve.
First reading.
Yep. I'll make a motion to introduce.
Okay, so we're introducing ordinance number 2016-021. We have a motion to introduce. Do we have a second? I will second that. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan,
No.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Resolutions for approval. Resolution 2016-048, resolution transfer property to the Muncie Sanitary District.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. I did have a question though.
Now we go to discussion.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second discussion.
Did Janet Ling?
Janet's
No,
in the
she's back
back,
there.
but we have a
Oh.
gentleman up here that wants to speak on it.
Oh, okay.
Austin Schmaltz, 3410 West Fox Ridge. Julia was unable to attend today, so I'm here for her.
Oh, thank you. Hope she's okay.
She's recovering. She's good.
You have a question?
Yeah, the address is North 28th Street.
It's actually just north of just off Madison.
Could be east or west.
Yeah. I didn't know.
It was found by the surveyors when they were doing their work there. I don't think that
And
they were.
28th Street runs east and west.
Does it kind of turn or something?
I have it on the aerial here. Do you guys have the aerial?
I just kind of curious.
No, we don't have an area.
We want to make sure the address is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just here north of Madison where that. It's kind of hard to see. It's a small piece
Oh,
of ground. About enough.
28 or 29.
That's the dead end? That middle? It's up there on the hill. It's north of Weiser.
This is down
That's
by
not-
Myrtle, isn't it?
Yes. Myrtle and
28th Street
Madison.
is. 28th Street should
Yeah.
not be anywhere near this.
And the sanitary district was not aware that it was there. The surveyors found this piece of property when they were doing their work there.
I think we
Okay,
gave
What I'd like to
we
do
gave
is,
him this one
yeah,
last
what I'd like to do is rescind my motion, because I would like to hold on until you guys actually get the proper address, because if this is down around Myrtle, because 28th Street runs out around Drum Edition, it also runs out by the South Walmart. What you guys are showing us is down around Myrtle Street, and 28th Street is nowhere near this.
Yeah, I know the address does not make sense on that,
Yeah,
but
let's-
And I don't want to give you somebody's property that we're not supposed to give to you.
well, it's in your possession.
Yeah, but it's in our possession, but
Sure.
still yet, I don't want to give you a property that,
The address is wrong on the resolution,
that
so
you
the
really don't
resolution needs
need.
to be corrected.
Yeah. I didn't catch that till last night. Wait.
well, thanks for catching that, Sherry.
Well,
Because we didn't have an aerial, and
Mm,
I thought maybe they were down there doing some work
I
on their
bet
lines,
that's real
but
close to that one we did a couple weeks ago.
You guys, get the address correction made and
And bring it
bring it back
back
to
to
us.
Okay.
Give
Okay.
Janet back there.
The proper procedure would be a motion to table this request.
Yeah. Change our motion to table.
I'll change
Motion
it.
to table takes precedent over all other motions,
Yeah.
so.
I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
Motion made to table resolution 2016-048. A second, roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes,
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Hope the weather's better for you next time.
David, do you know if you guys have this address down for that property that they're wanting?
I looked up the parcel number and I wasn't aware of what the address was.
Okay,
We mainly go by parcel number,
okay,
okay?
Thanks.
But I'll look it up.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just remember that there are properties that are, if they're undeveloped, they may not have an address, they may have a block range,
Uh-huh,
because we address structures.
yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
All right. Department heads or elected officials?
I have presented you with an agreement for an attorney services contract for Andrew Gruber to assist me on some of the complicated legal matters using his expertise. And I presented that to the commissioners. I would like to get your approval so that I can work with Mr. Gruber on these. I have found that, as my dad always said, the smartest man in the world is not the one that knows everything, but knows where to look, so.
Know who to ask.
I'd make a motion to approve John's.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to approve the contract with Mr. Gruber. Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Also, at the December 5th meeting, the commissioners received a petition concerning rates for the Delaware County Regional Wastewater District. One of the requirements was that you had to have 50 signatures of people that live in the district. My office has taken a look at that. There are at least 50 people that live within the district. So officially, I'm going to request that the commissioners show that petition is filed as of today so that we can conduct a public hearing and get the notice out. The statute requires a public hearing to be conducted no less than 10 days from the date of filing, but no more than 20 days from the date of filing. And so I would suggest that a public hearing be conducted on January 3rd at approximately 2:30 p.m. in this courtroom. I'll prepare the notices to get to the newspaper and send the notice to the Regional Wastewater District.
That'd be a Wednesday.
That'd be Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it'll be our first meeting in January.
First meeting in January.
I'll make that motion that we recognize the petition
Second.
and we set for a public hearing on January 3rd at
Second.
2:30.
Okay, motion's been made and a second to accept the petition and have a meeting on December 3rd at 2:30 p.m. Or January 3rd. Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Also, along with that, the commissioners have called for an audit of their books, their finances. So we want to make that clear. And John, can we get that?
I'll get that started right away.
Thank you.
Any other business for department heads or elected officials?
I got one thing that I would like to
Yes.
discuss. Last week, I received an email from an employee here concerning the insurance. I'd like for everybody to understand that the insurance, we're giving you the best insurance that we can give you for the money that was allotted to us from the county council. I didn't like the way the letter started out, that I would not read the letter or give it the time of day. Believe me, I did. I read the letter all the way through, like she stated that I would not. Also, I would like for people to understand something, because it said in there that we made a mistake, how we cater to our sheriff's department, our EMS, fire, and everybody else. I would like for people to understand something. Our sheriff's department, our EMS, fire departments and everything else, they work 40 hours or more a week. When there's snow days here at the county building, there's no snow days for our public safety officers. When it's freezing ice and they're out there sliding on the roadways, or when their cars are getting stuck in snow drifts, there's no time off for these guys. There's no catering to these guys. We just try to provide the equipment while they're out there putting their lives on the line for the citizens and also the people that work inside this building. So when you come and say we are catering to these guys, no, we're not. We're making sure that they have the proper equipment, just like we would here if you guys, your computer systems go down or something else happens here. We get what you guys need to have done. When it comes down to the insurance, you know, I understand people have problems, they need insurance and everything else. But I would also like for people to understand that some of us that sit up here on this board, we also have people that have health problems. That I would love to have the best insurance I could for a family member of mine that's very ill right now. We're just doing the best we can up here with the money that is allotted to us. Believe me, when the council went in, I wish they would have looked at insurance first before they looked at anything else. But we are not the fiscal body up here. We are the ones that look at the contracts and sign the contracts. If you are going to send something out, send it to the people that vote on how much money to give us for the insurance. Not the people that in the past have stepped up and have taken money out to help with the insurance when the money wasn't there. Council was told last year and in the previous years that we could not afford to continue to do this. They still cut the insurance, and yes, they did add jobs and everything elsewhere. That is not on us. But we will try to provide the best that we can for our employees here. You know, I'm sorry that some are upset, but there are also people that we have to look at that go out and they work 40 hours or more a week also that don't have insurance. Me personally, I am on an insurance program that my deductible is $3,500. I'm grateful to have insurance. I'm grateful to have the job that I do have. I'm grateful that the good Lord takes care of me. Like I do have a family member that's very ill that is on a high deductible insurance. So I want you to understand, I know what you're going through and what you're talking about. But you also have to look at there are people out there that are single parents that don't have insurance. You know, just thank the good Lord for what you have. That's all I've got to say.
Well said. Well said.
Can I say something about that? My daughter also has a chronic illness, but I want to say that, I don't know if Rick has gotten the word out, he's sent a lot of emails. There is help. We found a lot of help, and you just have to look for it. We found help for my daughter through an email he sent out. And I know I was upset too, and I know a lot of people are upset as well, but I just had to make a lot of calls, do a lot of legwork. So if people are coming to you with that, I would suggest making those phone calls and talking to Rick and making an appointment with Rick, because if I hadn't done that, I would have never gotten the coverage I got for her. So I don't know if you're getting that kind of feedback from the people, but that's my suggestion, is making those calls to the companies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Rick, you can help them if they contact you to help with these issues.
Anyone else? We have in our packets a monthly report, the clerk of the Circuit Court, November 2016 monthly report. We have the payment of claims of $4,365,000, $365,014.69.
Make a motion, payment of claims.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes. Have any questions or comments from anyone else?
I've got one other thing.
Okay.
Is Bill Walter still here?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yes, Commissioners.
I was wanting to get with Brad before he left. Can you guys get with John Brook and see about when we can try to recoup the $150,000 that was given to Danner?
I can do that.
Because I don't think he has fulfilled his agreement. And I know he has moved on to the east side of Muncie.
Correct.
And I would like to recoup the money that Delaware County has put out on him.
Okay.
If we are able to do it now.
I'll get with Brad and we'll schedule a meeting with Mr. Brookins.
John, should we do this as a motion?
I think we should, it should be explored first, see what the parameters are, and then come back with a motion.
Okay.
I'll get with
If
Brad.
you guys can start on that, I'd really appreciate it.
We will do, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do I have a
Make a
motion for
motion to
recess?
recess.
Second.
Merry Christmas to everybody.